Lawman Bass Reeves is the only Yellowstone-related show that we got in 2023, which is why it has a special place in my heart. The simple fact that it is a direct spin-off of 1883 is enough for me to follow the series regardless of its quality. Thankfully though, so far as we complete the 4th episode of the show, I can confidently claim that the series has top-notch quality with a very captivating story to tell. Episode 4 was no different from its predecessors in terms of its appeal. So without further ado, let's dive into the episode. The episode starts with Bass meeting an older woman in a rural and isolated place. Even though the woman was skeptical of him at first, seeing that he believed in God made her trust him. So she welcomed Bass to her home. The fact that Bass's clothing was looking quite a thorn apart made me speculate, as if this was a flashback scene to a point in his past. But quickly, we realized that this was a basic disguise for him to capture 2 criminal sons of the older woman. I won't lie, it was a pretty smart move. Not only did he get to spend the night in his family's home, but also he managed to arrest the 2 brothers without facing any resistance. The only thing that made me mad was that the episode didn't show the reaction of the mother to her son's arrest, and the fact that the arrest was made by the man she welcomed as a guest. I felt like it was bad storytelling as we first saw him bonding with that woman, not the sons. So to cut her out so suddenly like that was unsatisfactory. Anyways, after the arrest, he met with Billy Crow, who is like an assistant to him right now. Together, they had a group of criminals at hand who were waiting to face justice. Well, it is easier said than done to manage a group of criminal men, as this episode showcased perfectly. Even though they were all tied up and under the supervision of 2 capable men, aka Bass and Billy, one of them still managed to get rid of his chains and kill another criminal, while also attacking Bass. I mean, I cannot even imagine being in the same place with a criminal, let alone sleeping together with a bunch of them in a deserted place. After this incident, Bass went to a brothel to capture yet another criminal. And yet, that attempt also goes wrong as the criminal in question ends up being killed by Billy Crow. So even though both Billy and Bass try to do their best to capture these men and make them face justice, inevitably, they also find themselves in lots of violent situations. I feel like with each of these disheartening experiences, Bass realizes that his job as a U.S. Marshal has a lot more difficulties than he initially assumed. Making criminals face justice is the #1 priority for Bass, which is why losing them before because of dire consequences is far from being desired. Last but not least, we saw a familiar face in this episode. The one and only Mo Brings Plenty made an appearance in the series, somehow linking Bass Reeves to the Yellowstone universe, and I love it. Back in Bass's home, we saw his wife joining meetings with the black rights activists of the time with the dream of having a land of their own. In other words, there is the dream of forming a heaven for black people in the US, and their cause seems more and more appealing to Bass's wife with each episode. It seems like in the next episode, we will watch Bass facing these new political beliefs of her wife and see how he will reach them. Do you think Bass will take place in the activist movements of the era, or do you think he will stick to his profession and will try to keep his wife away from these as well? Let me know what you think in the comments below, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and share the video. Thank you for watching. See you soon.